For the first time in its 70-year history, UNICEF is helping feed children in the UK, the sixth richest country in the world. The UN agency responsible for providing aid to children worldwide says the pandemic has increased food poverty in Britain. It estimates there are children going hungry in a fifth of households. Well, let's discuss this further. We're joined now from London by Stephanie Slater, Chief Executive of School Food Matters. Thank you very much for your time. How serious is food insecurity in the UK? Why do organisations like you have to step in and help?
Well, it's interesting. The Food Foundation did some research even before the pandemic, which revealed that 2.4 million children were at risk of food insecurity. Now, that was before lockdown. And what we've seen is a massive spike in the number of families claiming universal credit and visiting food banks. Now, we are a small charity in London, and what we normally do is teach children about food and campaign on food standards in school meals. But we had to respond to this. We are able to connect with local schools, and they are telling us that families need our support. So when UNICEF announced that it was going to be investing £700,000 for UK charities to respond to the need, we were well placed to respond to that. So we're only working with 1,800 families in the London Borough of Southwark, and we know that the need goes far beyond that. And we know this because during school closures in the summer holidays, we delivered 500,000 breakfasts to families in just 2 London boroughs.
So what kind of family situations are you stumbling across that you're finding, the people who need help?
Well, it's interesting because there is a measure in the UK that free school meals is a measure of disadvantage. And what we found during our work during closures and in the summer is that 1 in 5 of the families we were supporting that had been identified by their schools as needing support were not eligible for free school meals. So what our concern is that we may have children falling through the gap. So we absolutely are behind the Marcus Rashford campaign to extend eligibility to more families.
Marcus Rashford, of course, the football player who got the government to make a bit of a U-turn in terms of providing meals to children. What is the provision that you give for a family who maybe can't then afford to feed their children? You step in and what do you do?
So our programme is called Breakfast Boxes, and we decided to focus on breakfast because we are also, in happier times, focusing on food education and child obesity measures in London schools. Now, part of our programme is to look at exactly what children receive in relation to nutrition at school, and one of those things is breakfast in a lot of schools. So our breakfast boxes are just packed full of fabulously nutritious breakfast items, milk, cereals, lots of fruit, and we've seen an amazing outpouring of support from local businesses. One of the big food suppliers here has supplied £4,500 of extra fruit and veg to go in these boxes. So we want to make sure that everything these children receive is going to nourish them and help them to thrive during these really tricky times.
Thank you very much for talking to us. From London, Stephanie Slater, the Chief Executive of School Food Matters.